Welcome everybody to the next in our series of Espresso Podcast from Aqilla. Delighted to once again be joined by Simon Bull, who is Senior Account Manager at Aqilla. Our topic for today is talking about automation. Now, as we know, automation is hitting every single aspect of our life, and finance is absolutely not exempt from benefiting from automation. Simon, talk to us about automation opportunities in accounting and finance. What's the potential for the accounts team?
It's something that we at Aqilla have particularly been looking at almost since the inception of the software itself. Being a modern cloud-based application gave us all of those opportunities to actually look at how we would use the software and how we would use the software in a way to make the finance department's life easier. One of the things we've always been talking about with Aqilla is how we can free up the time of the finance department to do the job that they're skilled to do, rather than spend all their time rekeying information and rerunning reports. And that's where automation comes into it. Even if we go to, the very basic side of automation, of what is automation? Well, it's somebody else doing something, be it a person or be it a system. Having somebody else entering their own expense claim, for example, could be considered just an automated process as far as the finance department is concerned, because they're not rekeying it. But actually, the ability just to download information from a third-party source, be it a CRM system, a banking solution, finance solution, and maybe a timesheet, HR, something like that, get it into an Excel spreadsheet, and then very simply click on a button to upload that straight into the finance solution. And with Aqilla, we have an add-in for Microsoft Excel, which is included within the license fee, which means you're not rekeying any information that you've downloaded from a third-party solution. So it cuts out errors, it cuts out additional human involvement, and it just frees up an immense amount of time for the finance department staff.
Okay, so you touched on a couple of good examples there. So we're talking about expenses and removing the requirement to double key data. And I guess the same applies for timesheets. You also mentioned third-party integrations and the ability to work within Excel, for example. For things like invoicing, are there opportunities for automation with those types of processes?
Well, absolutely, and I think we're seeing it in a lot of finance solutions now, and particularly in Aqilla. It means, when we do create a sales invoice, we're able to click one button and fire that straight off to the customer without having to download it as a PDF and attach it to a separate email. We can also do that with things like purchase orders and remittance advices, statements, any sort of external communication that you have, be it with a supplier or a customer, can be handled as an automated process with say, a very simple click of a button. And it even moves on from that it means you've got a record of all of these being sent from the system. So when you are coming to things like credit control, you know that invoices have been sent, you know that the invoice has been received. So it ties up a lot of the additional tasks that you have to do, which involve a lot of manual process.
Terrific. So that feels kind of across the business then, from your invoicing, from tracking, credit control, expense management, timesheet management. By automating those things, you can trust that the numbers you're looking at are correct and accurate. So how else? I mean, what are when we think about maybe specifically Aqilla, what are the opportunities that Aqilla customers have that maybe some other organizations don't?
Well, I think a couple of key things that is in Aqilla that is very important to any organization that's being run is to do with your banking, of course. The fact that we have the ability to download a bank statement from multiple banks in multiple currencies and carry out an automated bank reconciliation process. It, of course, again, frees up the time of the finance department from having to download a bank statement, upload it, cross-reference it, check it, or even on some of the very basic entry-level finance solutions where you're driving your ledgers from your bank statement, which, as we know, isn't the way to run a finance solution. With Aqilla, you have complete control over that with an automated process. And on the backside of that, of course, when you come to pay people, you're able to do your payment run and then upload that payments file into the online banking software or to your online bank. Again, any bank, any currency. And with the ability then to have that authorized straight through from the online banking software. We know Again, there are some softwares that link directly with the bank for payment files, but many of our clients, being larger users, require more than one person to authorize a payment out of an online bank. So actually just having an automated system really doesn't help. It has to be an automated system that works the way the organization needs to work. And this is really where smart automation comes in. Very quickly, easy to click a button and think a job's been done. But actually, the larger the organization, the more sophisticated the requirements of an organization, the more sophisticated and smarter the automation has to be.
The customers, I know you speak to users all day, every day. What would be an example of perhaps one of the more sophisticated contributions that Aqilla's automation capabilities deliver?
Well, we have two features in Aqilla that are available, which is Smart AI and Smart Docs. Smart AI is the ability for Aqilla to receive information and connect with third-party applications via an API. APIs have been used for many years now, and again, being a modern web-based cloud application, we are able to work with other applications and take information directly into Aqilla. This comes with all the checks and balances that you would expect with information coming into a finance solution, and is very easy to set up and manage. But what it does mean is that if you are entering a sales order, for example, into a CRM system, when that order is converted into an invoice or a sale, with one click of a button from the CRM system, that can be fired straight into the finance solution. It can create the new customer, it can create the invoice, and it can create all the information that needs to go with that for the finance department to have a new customer setup and the invoice setup without rekeying anything, which means all of the correct information that's already been validated in the CRM system is sent straight across into the finance system without any need to rekey, knowing that it's going to be correct because there's no manual involvement in between that. And we can even send information back out just with like a reference number information to say that the invoice data has been received into Aqilla. And that's not limited just to a CRM system. Things like, we have quite a few users in the care home sector where they have a lot of staffing. Maybe the biggest cost is probably staff. So therefore, they have quite complex timesheeting software and HR management software. And that is able to do exactly the same and send in the journals with that information for the timesheets, for the salaries, for the staff, and able to capture that. And because of the way Aqilla works with our project accounting, all of that can be attached to a project. So means that we can run our income and expenditure reports against individual areas of the business without any manual interaction at all. So that's really smart AI. But smart AI is far more than that, because we can link several processes together when we use it. So it really is quite a sophisticated feature that we have in Aqilla, and it's very easy, as I say, to set up. It's very easy to manage and very easy to maintain.
Okay, so smart AI sounds like a phenomenal feature. I feel like that you've that was my turn to we were doing so well. I thought we were going to knock that out in one hit,
No, I think I just spoke too much. I needed a thinking gap in between.
Okay, so that's smart AI. So when we talk about automated intelligence or artificial intelligence, that this is gaining traction. What other automation capabilities does Aqilla provide?
Smart Docs, as I mentioned earlier, is a really great feature that we have as part of the Aqilla suite of products. And that gives you as a user of Aqilla the ability to give your suppliers an email address that they can send their invoices to. So rather than it coming to a finance user or to the supplier, it goes into an email address. And what we then do is we monitor, Aqilla monitors this email account. And when it sees that an email has been received in there with an attachment of, say, for example, a PDF of an invoice from a supplier, it is able to read that PDF. It is able to extract the information from it and then automatically send into Aqilla the purchase invoice set up with the supplier details and with the details from the invoice, ready for someone in finance then just to click on the post button and have that go straight into the system. So if you're receiving several hundred or several thousand invoices a week or a month, having the ability for those just to be taken straight into an email account, dragged out of there and automatically sent into Aqilla just to be reviewed and posted is an absolutely phenomenal feature, and it works really well. It's really slick. We have all the checks and balances in there if you need to use workflows for the invoice to be received, for it to be reviewed, for it to be approved, and then to be sent through into the system as an approved invoice. So when finance receive it, they know the invoice is correct, they know it's been approved by the originator, and it's in the system ready for them to post. So Smart Docs is just a really good feature. We're seeing a lot of it. You know, it's something that isn't new. Electronic document management has been around for quite a while now. But this linking with the finance system, with all the work being done, with it being pre-keyed in. And again, as I said at the beginning, we're just cutting out the ability for human interaction and therefore human error.
Okay, so I'm keen to focus on the top 5, if you like, key benefits of automation. But before that, it almost sounds too good to be true. What's the cost of utilizing technology like this?
Actually, nothing like as expensive as you might think it would be, because the technology already exists. These automated processes are there. All we're doing is sending, you know, bits of information backwards and forwards. And Aqilla, as we always have, and unlike many other mid-market finance software providers, our prices are published on our website. So if you go to www.aqilla.com, click on the pricing link, you'll see the prices for all of the licenses and the prices for Smart AI and Smart Docs. We've always been very keen to be upfront on our pricing and actually publish them, and not wait for you to ring us and ask for a quote and us to work out how much we think we can afford to charge you. So yeah, have a look at the website, have a look at the costs, and you'll see that actually it's a very affordable solution that is based around the volume of transactions that you're doing, rather than you know, anything else. Because of course, when it comes to the automation, it's all around volume. But it's very easy to look at our website and look at the pricing.
Wonderful, thank you very much. And I guess that's one of the many benefits of utilizing a platform that's been built for cloud, because all of these features are available. There's no requirement to install lots of new different pieces of software. So that's wonderful. Now, before we finish, Simon, I would love it if you could just maybe give us, from your perspective, the top 5 benefits of automation in finance from your perspective, and if there is any anecdotal views or points in terms of the savings or the benefits to customers, that would be absolutely amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think the key things we have to bear in mind is the value that automation gives to a finance department. So if we look at what the benefits are, it is going to be accuracy of data. And when it comes to a finance department, that has got to be paramount in anything that you're doing. So accuracy of data, ease of use. I mean, you know, finance systems over the years, you know, have always been considered to be sophisticated, but it moves from that into the complex. The reason why finance systems become complex is because they are quite often old and uncared for. And we've talked about this in previous podcasts, that the last department to ever get anything upgraded or updated is the finance department, because it's one of those things that, you know, you don't want to go poking the hornet's nest. If it's working, let's not fiddle with it. The reason why the finance software is often working and it's been there for 10 years is because the finance department itself is making it work. The software isn't fit for purpose anymore and is just doing its job. And therefore, modern cloud-based applications, and particularly let's look back at the last 18 months where so many of us have been working from home, the ability to know you've got accurate data on a cloud-based application rather than sitting there languishing on a server that no one can get to in the office has got to be of vital importance. And therefore, again, you know, looking back over the last 18 months, something we could never have even thought of, automation really has got to have helped so much, where people are working from home, doing processes at home, and it's just arriving in the finance system, again, with finance people not necessarily being in the office. So, you know, the ease of use from locations around the world, the accuracy of the data, and the fact that processes are just being done in the background. Processes that used to take a lot of time to run are just being done and being managed. And then, of course, the ability for software solutions to talk to each other. Why shouldn't they be able to do that, no matter what platform they're from? You know, the days of having a suite of solutions, and, you know, I remember many software providers from years ago having a suite which would include HR and would include CRM and would include finance and various other bits of software. Well, now with APIs and things like Smart AI, you're able to buy best of breed. So you buy the best finance solution, you buy the best CRM system, you buy the best payroll solution, and therefore you are choosing the software that you have. It's not being forced to you. We look at many of these suite solution offerings, and they're normally independent bits of software that have been acquired over the years and made to work together. No better than having the independent ones using an API. So I think it just gives the flexibility to a finance department and an organization to have best of breed solutions working for them.
Yeah, that's perfect, Simon. So I think from that, we are firstly saving time, secondly, reducing errors. Thirdly, there's improved security and compliance. We can be confident in the accuracy of the data. And finally, that consistency and connectivity across the business is absolutely just phenomenally beneficial. I mean, that was the key things that I wanted to cover. Is there any final words before we finish this particular podcast?
Well, I think that the key thing for anybody is to talk to us about what you want to do with the finance software and how you want it to work in an automated way. For us, and we've said this time and again, and I know we've talked before in these podcasts, again, I say it about freeing up the finance department. The more we can have being done in the form of data entry by other people or by an automated process means that there is more time available for the finance department to use the skills they've got to actually be doing their jobs. And the same is at the other end of the solution. Again, we've talked about this when it comes to reporting, on-demand reporting, the ability for people who have then been sitting waiting for finance to generate a report for them can actually just go to a dashboard, click on their own report and not even darken the door of the finance department, means we're just freeing up this time for the finance department. And automation is all part of that, be it smart AI, smart docs, or even just the simpler tasks of importing spreadsheets or sending information straight out from a finance system. So yeah, give us a call, talk to us, send us an email, tell us what you want to do with an automated solution, and let us talk about what we've done with other clients in the past, because I suspect it is very unlikely somebody could throw something at us that we've not done before and we can't talk about how we've done it before successfully.
That's absolutely wonderful. That was really, really interesting and very insightful. As ever, Simon, thank you very much for your time.
Not a problem at all, and I look forward to next time we get to have a chat and do this again.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.